All right, time to talk about the NFC West with Troy Aikman. I'm Tom Vandervoort. San Francisco 49ers, very sexy Super Bowl pick. Are they going to the Super Bowl? Do they have that capability, do you think?
Well, they have that capability. Last year I thought that they were the best team top to bottom. They were good running the football. They were good, defensively. They were good stopping the run. They were good, in special teams. Although special teams is ultimately, what really hurt them in the NFC Championship game. But that, and they were very efficient. They didn't beat themselves. They created takeaways. Didn't turn the ball over a lot. I think, those things are really what winning football teams do. And now they've added to their arsenal offensively because what they lacked was the ability for a lot of big plays. So, then that you better be really good on defense if you're not creating big plays and scoring points. And so now they bring in Randy Moss and they bring in Mario Manningham and they add that to Crabtree and,
it's almost like all their weapons were on the defensive side of the ball in a sense last year.
Yeah, and now I think there was pressure on Alex Smith last year. A guy who had been through a number of offensive coordinators and everybody wanting to know, okay, when's it going to come? When's it going to click for him? And then he had really an outstanding season. And I don't think stats tell the story for a guy like him. But now there's probably even a little bit more pressure because the expectations are higher than they've ever been since he's been there. I mean, the expectation is to go to the Super Bowl, and now the expectation is for him to have a lot of big plays in the passing game because of the guys that they brought in.
Right.
So, can they go to the Super Bowl? Absolutely, they can. Will they? Who really knows? Are they a team that maybe will falter? Will be one of those teams that was really good one year and then just really struggles.
Yeah.
I don't really see that being the case. They return all their starters defensively, and then within that division, I just don't see any of the other teams, really unseating them, within that division. So I believe if you're a 49ers fan, you're probably and should be excited about this season.
Is it hard if you're Alex Smith when okay, we had a great year last year and I was doing certain things and we had a great year? Is it hard not to try to do a little more and maybe try to do too much?
Well, it will be hard because I think the tendency, with some of these newfound weapons that you're going to, not only for him, I think it's going to be a challenge for the staff, to kind of break away from, because they're going to want to utilize those guys. And so, sometimes less is better because you then clearly know, how you're going, what your blueprint is for winning.
Right.
But now with some of the things that they have within the passing game, I think everybody has to guard against that a little bit. But I think this staff is pretty disciplined. I think this team is disciplined. I think Jim Harbaugh has really done a nice job, with that group and keeping them focused. And so I don't see that as being a real issue for them.
Now, talking about some of the other teams in the division, obviously look at the Phoenix Cardinals. You got a little bit of a quarterback controversy there. They have Larry Fitzgerald. They have some nice pieces on defense. What's the potential of this team, and then how does that match up with what the reality might be?
Well, they've got some potential, and Larry Fitzgerald, what an outstanding year he had last year with some of the inconsistencies that he had there at quarterback, and to still have 1,400 yards receiving and essentially went unnoticed, around the league. But a big year for Kevin Kolb. I think that expectations were high for him when he was at Philadelphia. Most believed, I know within the organization they did, that he would be the guy then that would succeed Donovan McNabb, and then of course the Cardinals make a trade for him, and then just hasn't quite happened yet in Arizona. And of course he's got to stay healthy first and foremost. But it's a team I still believe that they have talent on that team. If the 49ers were to stumble, I think that the Cardinals would be the team that's next in line to maybe capture that division.
Does Kevin Kolb, should he feel like I'm on a pretty short leash here? I mean, you've got Skelton sitting right there, who played pretty well last year.
Yeah, that's a situation unlike some of the others, to where if you're not an established guy in this league and you're in Ken Wisenhunt's position, and you say, hey, we really need to do something, then usually you don't stay in the game too long if you start to struggle.
Yeah. Now talk about the Seahawks a little bit. T.O. going to the Seahawks. Wow.
Yeah,
Carroll, T.O. They got Matt Flynn over there now.
And I think that the fact that they picked up T.O., I think just kind of tells you maybe where they're at. Because of some of the things that have followed Terrell Owens. And it's amazing. He's a pretty amazing guy, at his age to still be able to, do the things that he's capable of doing. But he'll be interesting to watch. But Seattle, the first year with Pete Carroll, the division obviously was down. They make it into the playoffs. They were able to beat the New Orleans Saints, who were excellent. Nobody thought that would happen. Last year, somewhat of a struggle. They go out, they pick up Matt Flynn. Haven't anointed him yet as the starter.
Which kind of surprises me in a way.
Yeah, it does me too.
Why not just? It seems obvious that he's going to be the guy at first, unless he falters.
Well, it does, but then
but
I'm not sure it is.
Right.
And so you got Tavares Jackson there, and so trying to figure out exactly that position has to get solidified. I mean, when we talk about any of these teams, who's going to play quarterback, and can that guy play at a high level? I mean, it's when the season ends, whether it's this year or in any other year, for the most part, when you look at those playoff teams, you say, okay, well, what quarterbacks had the best years? And invariably, they're those quarterbacks that are on those playoff teams. And so it's hard to win without great play at that position, and that's what's going to have to happen for Seattle.
Right, and talk about the quarterback play in St. Louis. Sam Bradford obviously took a step back last year. What's his approach now going into this year?
Well, survival probably.
Yeah, they don't have a lot, do they? I mean,
yeah, it's of course Jeff Fisher comes in. The philosophy is probably different from where it has been with Sam. I think Sam's a terrific player. I really do, and I think over the years there's been a lot of really talented quarterbacks that have come into the league that circumstances have kept them from being as good as they could be. And so far, I think that's the case for Sam Bradford. He's been beat up a lot. There's been some changes that have been going on there. I think Jeff Fisher, brings some stability and at least a veteran coach that everybody looks to in those meeting rooms and says, hey, this guy's been there before.
Right.
And that will help them. I don't see them doing a lot this year, but I think that Jeff's going to do a good job, and I think in time Sam Bradford's going to prove that he was as good as advertised.
And maybe if you're a Rams fan, you say, look, Jeff Fisher is going to come in, and our defense was not very good last year, and they're going to be good because he's Jeff Fisher. And Sam Bradford can't have another bad year like that, so maybe we kind of inch up a little bit. Basically.
Yeah, I believe for a team that won 2 games last year, I believe they'll be better.
They'll be better than 2.
They'll be better than they were last year. Yeah.
Taking the over on that.
That's it.
Right. There you go. That's our look at the NFC West. For Troy Aikman, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks for watching.